What good YouTube, and welcome to the house. This reminder is twofold. As people freak out over the prices early on Gold Series, Konami announced there's a huge delay on Maximum Gold El Dorado, and not all shops will be seeing it on release date. And a ton of the big boys have been hitting me up. John, we don't see this until middle of next week. That's our ETA as we know it right now. I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily, for example, is going for that, so please, if you pre-ordered through them, have a little bit of patience and understanding that not only do they need to get the caseloads in, they need to rip them open, they need to sort all the cards, then they need to put them together for your individual shipment. And still, even then, their prices are very competitive on some cards like Pot of Extravagance. They're repricing a little with code WhatsGood5 for 5% off and support the channel directly, but there can be some delays there. That being said, also the second part of this reminder is to say the usual competition that would be on day one and opening weekend on singles within the website of TCG Player just isn't there. It doesn't also help that access code talker is half printed. This is a buzzword I've been throwing around, so let me explain it. It is indeed a short print to an extent. So you take Rescue Cat, right? It has two different arts, yet you will pull as many total Rescue Cats as the non-short printed Invocation, right? So Rescue Cat Alter Art and Rescue Cat Regular Art are both half printed, but you will pull as many Rescue Cats total as a single that does not have two arts within the set. Unfortunately, Access Code Talker does not have an alter art, unreal, and this Access Code Talker then as a single is half printed. So is Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, Dark Magician, and I believe there's one other that I'm boomering out on right now, but you can go to past videos where I talk about the ratios and see that for yourself. So like Masquerena has her two different arts, well each art is half printed to make a whole art, and many people are after the alter art Masquerena early too. So looking through the prices and competition here early, obviously there's way more listers for stuff like Pot of Extravagance, which people are grabbing in threes, also Invocations, which people are going for multiple ofs. Remember, vendors are paying per little tuck box like this around $16.5, give or take a little bit, so they're able to rip it open, and when they see a card like that, yay, I've made my money back. Also, people commenting on Predoplant Verte Anaconda that wanted to see this around $12 on release. I do vibe with that. I wish it was, but so many people are on the DPE engine as well as Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and been waiting for this card to have an easier access version, and with that it's one of the top demanded cards, even though you only really need the one. Among the other cards, you do see Red Eyes up here because it's harder to pull. Dark Magician as well. And then the Blue Eyes, interestingly cheaper over here. I will have to ask for US pull rates from those that actually get to experience them when they get their freaking cards in. I still actually don't have a mass pool for US pull rates versus EU. So the short prints I have been saying slash half prints are obviously EU versus the ones that are more intuitive, like having the alter arts. And boy, wow, the number stuff has gone down, and the Eldritch has caused some buyouts too that we'll get into, or at least price spikes. Also, similar to last year, there's amazing misprints happening over here. So many people actually really like to see this one, but I know that Jesse Cotton pulled a Nessie that looks amazing too, a Danger Nessie, and if you pull one of those, they're very, very big money. Now, there's more common misprints and other odds and ends. Do check out the Misprint Collector group if you have any questions on your card and how it's misprinted from the set, because it can be very, very big boy bucks if it's a desirable misprint. Now, speaking of that Eldritch engine, Skill Drain's been getting a lot of traction, and that's one of the homes for it, right? Like, Skill Drain works perfectly with Eldritch, and the last mass printing was the Lost Art, and then before that Battle Pack, it's just never been easy to get Skill Drain. It's always been a $3 to $5 card, but now all of them are pushing $12+ market price and getting even harder to get. So be aware, if you have Skill Drain, it's some pretty big boy bucks for what it is, and the Eldritch stuff getting reprinted and people looking to complete that deck makes it even harder when they're using this card. Evenly Matched and a ton of other cards that have been being bought out through the last weeks are skyrocketing at this point. Original Circuit Break Secret Rares for the first editions, they are above $60. They're $65. Isn't this like the price that it actually started out at in its metagame? That's so crazy. We're not talking like an ancient, old school version of this. This is, you know, a couple years later, not like 10 years later like we usually see, like Pot of Duality hitting its old market price. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, the ultra rares are now $20 instead of $15 to $16. And without a reprint on the horizon, I do suggest getting it sooner than later. The only reprint I could see is Ghost from the Trash 2, if they pulled an Imperm, where Imperm was in dual power and dual overload, if I recall correctly. So you do see that we have that here already, though, dual power, then Ghost. So will it be in Ghost? Where would we get the evenly matched that we were supposed to get in a structure deck? I don't know, but right now the prices on every version is just skyrocketing. The Mega Pack included, first edition's nearing 40 for that secret. Rudy Rose Dragon, this card is now 35 solid instead of 30 and continuing to climb up as Sword Soul players are on this, and Lightning Overdrive, Underdrive, so thirsty for value outside of Diviner, is loving to see any rain in the desert that, you know, these boxes have trouble providing. It's not like people are going to rip these boxes open only chasing out after Rudy Rose Dragon. They're going to buy the single rather than, you know, the 2.4 per 12 boxes in a case that you'd be going for. Cosmic Cyclone Ultimate Rares have taken the jump from 120 to 180 lowest listing. Where it'll fall back, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe 150, 160, maybe all the way back down to 120. But a lot of people are on this in this format, and with so many people having access to Eldritch now, I'm sure at locals, tons of people will be going on this. And speaking of the one-for-one cards, like, also, we'll get into that actually a little later. Lightning Storm is in a ton of side decks, more than main decks, I feel like, and a lot of the boards being put out, like Sword Soul, you know, you have Baroness, you can deal with this card, but a lot of the decks are putting out Monster Negate after Monster Negate, and then back row, kind of like PK, which is where evenly matched signs, or DPE is also where evenly matched is like, oh, you want to keep that or something else? I'm taking care of the board. Lightning Storm does force those issues, though, and if you open it with Dark Ruler no more, that's just the ultimate ability to deal with a board depending on what you're on. And the secret rares, you know, they're up in price like crazy. Jeez, I actually hadn't been staring at that one. Where are the first editions again? Oh no, not like this. 140 for the secrets? That's matching the collector rare. That's wild, and the collector rare does quickly go up from there. Wow, people really went for the first editions. I was talking about how the ultra rare had kind of done a double over time from 35 to about 65, but I didn't know the secret went like that. Geesh, it's so hard to keep track of all these versions. And then you have the Starlight, which did go up and out towards 450 plus and quickly towards 500 when it was 330 before. Just everyone's kind of looking at Lightning Storm and wanting the option, and again, where will its reprint be? And before it's a ghost rare. Forbidden Chalice is the other one-for-one I wanted to talk about. This card, I've been playing it and testing it like when I play Live Twins on stream and Dinnerflax was coaching me. I love this card so much more than when I was beginning with it. I was like, you know, droplets still, and this just has so much value in this format, and I get why it's ending up in so many lists. Never underestimate this card. In the ultra rares, pretty much all but bought out. Ultimate rares, way up in price, and any nice version of it slash holo has spiked, including the gold rares, which people claim to be allergic to. And then the commons, they're all dollars plus, so be aware you have some money you might not have known you had. But look how few of each common. This is even starting to bubble up towards being a $3 to $5 common at this rate, despite all of its printings, because there's so few of each and every one. Despia, I believe, is on Edge Imp Chain, and they're going out for the holo foils because of that, but there's not many commons either. And I always forget how much money is into the fluffle stuff on the lower end. Like, everything is $1 or 50 cents. So do be aware if you have fluffle cards from your bulk, be picking those out. Don't just leave them in the bulk piles. Put all of them together and sort them, because look at this. Sheep, market price, $2.30. Bears are all money. Dogs are all money. All dollars plus, including wings. Like, be pulling these out of bulk and make sure you're looking at which versions you have and sort those. Don't just leave those in the bulk. But yeah, the reason for the supers going up is certain Despia builds are on this card, and that's what has this skyrocketing and out on the market pretty quick. And I had sabers pulled up. Just, I forgot there was the Lart, and I kind of like the lightsaber blades more, weird enough, than the original. It's the barrel dragon effect where I like both versions, but I grew up with the weird glow gun. You have these all at $1 plus market price, and so many different super rare versions for this too, more than it deserves, I feel like. You have the special edition from NECH that we covered recently, where they redid all the supers. You have Fusion Enforcers, and the Larth Ultra, it is something just to consider, you know, having for its price with how crazy people do go over this deck. Ultra Rare Pot of Duality has been bought out and up. I think we were covering this as it was going. You do have one listing here and very low feedback listing before it is 20 plus. People just want nice versions of this. It's seeing play with Flunderies. It has really good synergy with Pot of Prosperity, so be aware that people are after all sorts of versions of this. The secret rare is spiked. The ulti is actually spiking even further than I recall. What's the lowest? 280, 285? Yeah, so this is going almost to new heights. During True Dracos, I believe this hit around there. So this might hit near its all-time high here soon if it actually continues to go. And then, you know, even the gold rares, they're going to. Any holographic of this is having a lot more traction than the commons, but all the commons are around 50 cents plus. And finally, Warrior of Atlantis for your meme buyout of the day. It searches a legendary ocean and you have all that water support coming. Legendary ocean treats itself as Yumi, also lowers levels. So this pitch field spell searcher is bought out completely for the ultimate rare. If you have one, you can be the only listing for a near mint. And the original rare is also pretty much bought out. Is there a near mint listing? Here we have our first one at almost $10 before it's 15. Unlim versus First Ed though. And then the common from a structure deck, Realm of the Sea Emperor. It is gone off the market to where only one exists. So yeah, this good old searcher only has 3 printings. I could have sworn it had more. If you asked me, I would have guessed 4 or 5, not 3. And it's money you might not have known you had. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. What do you think about the early Gold Series prices, and do they make more sense to you now that you remembered the supply chain distribution problems that are going on with the set? Or are you freaking out and you're like, access code talker, need to secure my access code talker? Does seem to be the card of the day that everyone's talking about and asking questions on, and I just want to know your takes. And if you're a little more calm and you're going to wait for the competition, or you think it's going to really start to spike up like Lightning Storm did maybe. Like, it's a one of, but then it's half printed instead of not shorted like Lightning Storm. Just the ratios from King Court shorts that. But I'm starting to ramble. Again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And I'll see you on the live stream tonight at 7 o'clock Central.